I keep the ringing. Yeah, keep the heads ringing.
On 23rd of February 2023, every resident of an Orang Asli village in Kampong Sungai Sinju in Simpang Pulai, Ipoh, Perak received notices stating that they must vacate their land. According to Tok Batin Alang Apok Sitam, one of the residents there, 163 of the inhabitants received notices to leave the residence stating that they only have 30 days to comply, commencing on the day the notice was served. The reason why they were forced to live there is because to create room for the Musang King Durian's commercial growth. Alang said that he wasn't aware of the trespass until heavy equipment was loaded in to clear the area on September 26 last year. Alang also mentioned to the news,
"We have been staying in the village for ages, and now a developer has encroached into the area, claiming that they have been issued a land grant for 5 acres and want us to vacate the area for them to carry out the Durang planting project."
Alang also added that where could possibly they go, even if eventually they were to move out from there. On March 6, Alang submitted a complaint of trespass on Orang Asli customary land to an official of the Perak Menteri Besar's office after the notice was served. The claimed landowner was contacted after that, and Alang also filed complaints with the police, the Orang Asli Development Department, Jakoa, and the Land Office. The official notified of Orang Asli's complaints claimed to have submitted the matter to the authorized EXCO member for further investigation.
Hi guys, welcome back to ML Studio. So recently, about the viral trespass case in Kampung Sungai Sinju, the cause of action here is that the Orang Asli is taking a legal action against the claimed landowner for trespass to land. The legal issue to be discussed here are whether the developer and the landowner's act of encroaching into Orang Asli's land could be constituted as trespass to land. Some of the relevant laws here are Article 13 of the Federal Constitution that provides whoever owns the property in the country shall enjoy protection. Next, Section 44 of the National Land Code provides that landowners shall entitled to exclusive enjoyment of the land. As such, no one can enter into someone's land unless the person has obtained the owner's permission. Finally, Aboriginal Peoples Act 1954. This act provides the provision to protect the Aboriginal people who inhabit West Malaysia. Section 6 and Section 7 of this Act refers to the Aboriginal areas and Aboriginal reserves. In the provisions under both sections, it is stated that within such areas, no land may be alienated, granted, leased, or otherwise disposed of to persons who are not Aborigines.
Now, the fact is that the defendants clearly have trespassed on our land, and the lawyer from our side and I have submitted our claims with, of course, supported by valid justifications regarding the possession of the land. And firstly, we have been staying in this village for ages, and the law of Orang Asli in Malaysia, as my lawyer has mentioned,
The Aboriginal Peoples Act 1954
is proof that our native rights are protected until now. We hold the exclusive possession, and there is the continuous use of our land, as you can see up to this day. And once again, we have the native right of physical control over our land. Secondly, there is unjustifiable interference with our land. The defendants had clearly done a wrongful entry when they interfered with our land without even showing us any authorization or any license granted to them. And I still remember to this day that day, last September, they invaded our area and placed heavy equipment there, and it is for the purpose of the Durang planting project. And last, the defendants clearly have the intention involuntarily to proceed with their act, which is similar to the act of trespass. They knew that they cannot enter the land until and unless the notice has been served to us and the time is up, or they have the authorization or license, they give them the permission to enter our land. So, whether the defendants truly believe that they had right to do so is actually invalid to be mentioned and argued. So, in the end, we can see that their action is clearly a trespass to our land, and there is no way they could defeat that fact.
Right, hear me out, okay? After consulting with my lawyer, I find out that it's possible for me to raise a defense of jus judice, where I, as a defendant, I can plead that I have better title over the land than you, the Orang Asli community. This is because we have been issued a land grant of 5 acres. Hence, it is obvious that we have better title over the land than the orang asli community. Because land ownership in Malaysia is proven through title documents that have been registered at the land office. So, we have more legal rights to the land over you, as the land grant has been registered in our name and the title document has been issued.
This is a landmark case of Adong bin Kual and others in Karajan Negeri Johor and another 1997. In this case, the defendants were held liable for trespassing the land of the Orang Asli community by acquiring the land for the purpose of constructing the Sungai Linggi Dam, which was an ancestral land where they depended to forage for their livelihood in accordance with their tradition. Since the plaintiff's right to native land was protected by both common law and Aboriginal People Act 1954, the plaintiffs were entitled to compensation, in accordance with Article 13 Clause 2 of the Federal Constitution. Another case is Sagong bin Tasi and others in Karajan Negeri Selangor and others 2002. In this case, a large strip across all the land belonged to the plaintiffs as the Aboriginal peoples of the Tamin tribe, who were settled peoples in Bukit Tampoy, was evicted for the purpose of construction of the Nilai Banting Highway. The first defendant contended to have acquired the land and thus, all of the defendants evicted the plaintiffs from the land. The court held that, the defendants were liable in trespass against the possession of the land of the plaintiffs. This is because they did possess native title over the land under the common law, and because of their present occupation on the land under the Aboriginal People Act 1954.
In comparing the previous precedent with our existing case, in the first case, the case of Adong bin Kuau, it was held that the respondents as Aborigines have the rights over the land, which includes the right to live on their land as their forefathers has lived. Similarly, the court had decided in pursuant of Article 13 of the Federal Constitution, where the respondents are also entitled to adequate compensation. The entry was wrongful, resulting to unjustifiable interference, just like in the case discussed. In the second case, which is the Sagong bin Tasi case, the defendants were held liable for trespassing on Orang Asli's land as the plaintiff hold the native title and possession pursuant to both Aboriginal Peoples Act 1954 and common law. Similarly, the plaintiffs in the current case also hold the exclusive possession and native rights of their land, and the defendants had intentionally made the wrongful entry by invading the area without any authorization.
So, what do you think the possible outcomes for the case will be? We believe that the judgment will be in favour of the Orang Asli in Kampung Sungai Sinju in Simpang Pulai, and the person who claimed to be the landowner and the developer will be held liable for trespass to land. This is because, by referring to the precedents mentioned, there is unjustifiable interference by the landowner and the developer when they encroach into the land by bringing heavy machinery. Secondly, we believe that the Orang Asli possess native title over the land and therefore they are in possession of the said land.
Now, what are the analyses that we can deduce from this issue? Let's hear what the experts have to say about the commentaries and opinion regarding this issue.
The news article regarding Orang Asli in Kampung Sungai Sinju clearly illustrates the area of law for trespass to land. Essentially, the rights of the Orang Asli are protected by our Federal Constitution, Aboriginal People Act 1954, and common law as an ingrained native customary right. Orang Asli are in possession of their land in accordance with their native customary rights because the land was customary and occupied by them and their forefathers for generations. And this principle can be inferred from Nor Anak Nyawai and others and Borneo Pulp Plantations, Sendirian Berhad and others, where the judge examines the Orang Asli's customary land rights through their journey along the history, depending on their ancestors having been living in the area and that the natives had followed their customs on the land. In my personal opinion, these rights may not be as effective at defending the Orang Asli's rights because they can be readily revoked with compensation, especially in light of the nation's exceptional development. Nevertheless, it does give the Orang Asli their rightful place as our nation's first land settlers in terms of legal recognition.
I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right.